Rockstars, welcome back to the Aurifil Color Builders. My name is HollyAnne Knight of String and Story, and it's my job to guide you to quilt with confidence. Today we're going to talk about quilting machine feet. You've seen me use a number of these feet over the course of our now 10 months together, but I actually wanted to take a moment and highlight each of them and their uses so that you know where they might fit into your free motion quilting journey. All right, first up we have the classic hopping foot. This is the spring that fits right on your machine. This might be the first free motion quilt you buy if you're new to free motion quilting. I really like hopping feet because they're readily available, easy to get your hands on, easy to fit to your machine. The challenge with hopping feet though is that they're often closed-toed, which means they can be a little bit more challenging to see through in the front. My personal preference therefore is this plastic one, but you can also buy metal ones that have a little gap in the front to make it a little bit easier to see what you're doing. These feet sit up on the fabric, they don't provide a lot of pressure on the fabric, and they hop up and down with the movement of your feed dogs and your needle to provide ease of glide underneath. Next up, we have the ruler foot. This is a classic industrial foot. What I mean by that is you're very likely to find this coming with something like a long arm or a juki, but no matter what machine you're on, you can get a ruler foot for it. It has these nice high sides, a complete circle to prevent this ruler accidentally ending up under your needle while you're quilting. This is my personal go-to for free motion quilting because it allows me to grab a ruler at a moment's notice and add a little extra technique to what I'm stitching on. Then we have the glide foot. You guys have seen me use this foot throughout our time together because a lot of our foundation paper piecing has really bulky seams. And while the ruler foot sits pretty close to the fabric to prevent the ruler from getting up underneath there, and the hopping foot kind of bounces up and down, our glide foot stays at a fixed height and rests just gently on the surface of our quilt. And it makes it ideal for going over really high seams because we also have this curve to help ease the seam up underneath the needle. Finally, a foot that might come with your machine that you can use for free motion quilting is a darning foot. It's not my personal favorite because I've had too many issues with my needle hitting my darning foot, but I do want to mention it to you because it might be that you have this foot even if you haven't actually gone shopping for a free motion quilting foot. So there you go, your four most common free motion quilting feet: your hopping foot, your ruler foot, your glide foot, and your darning foot. Today, I'm going to be putting my ruler foot on my machine because you may be able to see that I have marked a grid with a ruler, and I'm going to do some continuous curves on my Cross River Gorilla today. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use a ruler to guide those curves or not, but just in case I decide that would be smoother, I'm going to be at the ready with my ruler foot. So I'm going to get my machine all threaded up and ready to rock and roll, and I'll see you for some quilting in just a moment. Alrighty, let's get started quilting our Cross River Gorilla. We're going to begin with the continuous curve background. I have a ruler here that I can use to guide these curves if I want to, just to make them a little more uniform. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use it. Truth be told, I'll probably do a couple of curves, see how they're going, just eyeballing it, and if I'm having trouble with them being wonky, I'll break out my ruler and make use of that. But even more importantly, regardless of whether or not I'm going to use a ruler, let's talk real quick about how I'm going to move through these curves. Continuous curves can be tricky because you don't want to end up like losing your place in the rhythm, right? So I'm going to start by coming across, up and back, and do this kind of like half cross shape all the way down. And once I get to the bottom, I'm going to reset to the top, just like a typewriter, move over one, and then repeat this pattern all the way down. When I run into the gorilla, I'm going to stitch in the ditch to travel and then continue my curves and just travel in the ditch. That part's going to take a little bit of improvisation and creativity, but on the whole, I think this gorilla is going to look awesome. Notice at this point that I've filled in most of the background on my gorilla, but I still have a little bit over here from where it became easier to work all the way down one side and leave this bit unquilted. Right now though, I find myself down in the bottom of this gorilla's body And I'm going to use some McTavishing to add some texture, probably do a little bit of stitch in the ditch around the head and the details of the face, finish out with a bit more McTavishing, and then I will finish up our continuous curves on the far side. If I do it right, I'm hoping that I'll be able to quilt this whole block without having to break thread.